Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a bumper edition of the SA Artist Spotlight. Now, I personally feel there are not enough superlatives to describe these gentlemen sat around this table with me, but I'm going to give it a damn try. Pure pioneers, icons, local legends of local music, the one and only Ross, Dale, Neil, Dirk, Marco. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Circle. Gentlemen, firstly, welcome to the show, guys. Thank you so much for making some time for us. We really appreciate it, man. Listen, let's dive straight into it. Take a quick little trip down memory lane. It's the year 2000. Ross, Dirk, Marco, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed youngsters jamming in your parents' garages. Dreams of becoming famous musicians.
Yeah.
But what were your day jobs, man?
I was working construction for my father and waiting tables between the two because I kept getting fired from either one of them. That was my thing.
Any particular reoccurring offense for the firing?
I just couldn't weld. You know what I mean? I was supposed to be a welder and I just was terrible at it. No.
Marco?
I was in the nightclub business, believe it or not. Back in the day, rave was pretty big back then, so we had a bit of a motto thing that we couldn't beat them, we'd make money out of them. And that's what we did. We were in the dance scene, so I had to say it, but it's true.
Almost as bad as me answering Kelly Clarkson. No, I'm joking. Almost. Dirk, what about you?
I was in law enforcement, and I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory. Build the club, get into trouble, get out of trouble.
I'll weld the bars.
You know what I mean?
Weld the door shut.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say Ross was a wild child.
Yeah, I weld's a child.
All right. Let's jump forward. 2002. You guys are in studio for the first time, recording Hello Crazy World. Did you guys know there and then you had something special? Did you even dare to dream that you were starting a journey that was going to basically take you where you guys are now?
No, back then we still had a bet. Marco was very positive. I wasn't. And Cutting Jade just had 10 seconds. Had just come out. It was the biggest song in rock in the country, and they'd sold a certain amount of albums that I want to say. And then I thought, well, cool. That's the biggest you can get in this country. I think we'll do half that. And we went by miles, which was amazing. Not as a brag, we didn't expect it. It just suddenly happened. This massive album just came out of nowhere. It was the craziest thing.
And you guys, how were you feeling? I mean,
We always sat at rehearsals and just said, like, we'd like to become a household name. And, we started working on that, and that's where we are today.
okay. And then fast forward a few years later, 07, 08, I think it was, Dale, Neil, you guys step into, saying Prime Circle were a big established band would be an understatement. What kind of pressures or emotions were you guys feeling stepping into arguably the biggest band in South Africa?
It was no pressure really, it was just like really good fun, man. And it was like really cool because we all just got on really well and they're a cool bunch of guys and they write pretty good music.
Yeah, no, he's not bad.
There were awesome dudes, man. I was so like accepting and everything. It was really cool just coming into the group. And
Yeah, we actually got to tour with the guys. Yeah, we got to tour with them in their separate bands, so we already knew each other. There was sort of like already like a cool chemistry. So it was, I think, for them the transition was pretty natural.
Well, was it a kind of unanimous decision that who you guys wanted each when they stepped in? Was it like?
It definitely wasn't. It wasn't like, we're going to audition a bunch of guys and audition different drummers or keyboardists or whatever. It wasn't that. It was like we knew who we wanted and what we wanted. So it was just the sake of, are you in art?
Are you in art? Yeah.
So, nice. And my first show was like literally in front of 10,000 people or so.
Yeah.
And I had to learn like the first two albums in like both guys.
Hardly,
exactly. Yeah. In like hardly any time, and was walked on stage. Ross was like, "Don't help him, screw him. He must like sink or swim."
Yeah, make it happen.
We both studied jazz, so we both come from a jazz background.
Let me see you guys' jazz hands. That looks like. All right.
Yeah, we don't do those, Chris.
Automatically, when I hear the words Prime Circle, one image pops into my head. It's 2003.
Live.
I'm on a I'm on a shitty high school rugby field in Durban, watching you guys for the first time. Must have been maybe 150 people max, pissing down with rain, and literally 150 people just losing their shit, not an umbrella in sight. And that's what I think when I think Prime Circle. I think fans. How would you guys personally describe what your fans mean to you? How would you describe Prime Circle fans?
They're the bosses, man. I think, in the end.
They've been great. We've had the band has been going for 14, 15 years, and these are the people that's kept us going for all these years, and some of those fans just happen to be that were there from the very beginning, and we still see them at shows today, 15 years later, 14 years later. They're still there, they're still in the crowd. But, you know, just those are the die-hard fans, but just the other fans in general, it's just those are the guys that just keep us every show going back and back and back and you know, supporting us. So they actually, you know, are idols in a way.
It's cool because some of them, you know, they got kids now, so that's the next generation. So they're all at our shows now as well. So it's a nice thing to see from stage.
They kind of drag their kids along to the show. At first the kids are like, "Come on, man," and then after the gig they're like crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Been cool.
Okay, you guys have played on some of the biggest stages in the world, won countless awards. Is there anything particular as a band that you guys still aspire to achieve? Specific goals? Is there that one thing that you guys haven't achieved yet that you're still working towards?
There's so many, you know. It's like that goalpost gets shifted all the time, and for the positive, you know. So when we reach where we want to, we always talk about reaching a certain thing and doing a certain thing, and once we get in there, we really set it to the next level. So there's so much that we still want to achieve as a band and just as individuals, as musicians. But there's so much, you know, so we have achieved a lot over the years, and if we look back, because sometimes I think we forget about it, but if we look back and think about it, we've done so much, but it still doesn't feel like it's enough, you know, it feels like there's so much more to come.
Would you say that kind of lack of complacency and constantly setting new goals is probably one of the reasons for your longevity in the industry?
Possibly, but I think it's also the fact that it's a music journey.
That's passion. You can't deny the passion, and I think we all here for the music. We're not here for the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We're here for the music, and you know, for some of us. Right? But you know, it's passion. It's basically all we know what to do, and you know, like we've taken it to the next level and worked hard at our craft.
I think it's like we're always like writing music, so we're always like trying to striving to get that song, that next song, you know, and like. That's a cool thing about it is because you never know what you're gonna end up writing as a band, and when that song arrives, it's like wow, man. And then once you've done with that track, it's like trying to find the next huge song, and for me, that journey is incredible. Yeah.
You guys, Ross, you touched on it. You've said it again. Musical journey. With no disrespect to your Prime Circle brothers, we've seen a recent trend of some pretty big groups frontmen exploring different sides and going out on solo projects. We look at Khan from the Parlotones. We look at Glenn Hodgson dabbling in a solo project. We look at Art Matthews from Just Ginger doing some really good stuff for solo work. Have you ever considered doing that? And I'm opening this up to all of you as well, stepping out of the Prime Circle brotherhood and exploring a different side of your musical journey in a kind of solo project.
I think the thing with all of us is we're all thinking all the time about different things. So I mean, I have thought about it obviously. But it's every time like we keep writing as a band, so I'm always like, yeah, next year I'm gonna try and do it. And then we start writing such cool songs, and I'm like, no, let's focus on that. You know, I mean, this is definitely my home. This is my family. So even if I did something, they'd probably all help me write the damn thing. You know, like that's just how we are as a team. It's very difficult to write around other things and stuff, but I think we're all venturing out into other things as well, not just in music, it's in business as well, and it's quite nice to see because we have each other's back on stuff, you know, because we've been together so long, we just know how it is, you know, so we all endorse each other in everything we do, yeah. Okay.
Now, clearly, obviously, music is the one of the biggest elements of your lives. It's not your complete lives. What do you guys do to kind of take a step back away from the music? What, like hobbies or other ventures? Or how does Prime Circle kind of chill out for a
family?
Yeah.
It's basically spending time. So let's say we're on the road 10 days, we're with our family 10 days, on the road 10 days with our family on the 10 days, like, you know, so it's a cycle, and I think we see enough of each other as it is on the road. We spend 10, 12 hours in a bus together, do a show, then another 10, 12 hours, do a show. And when you get home, you kind of like, you love your brothers, but like you also love your family at the same time. And then we'll do like bras and we'll do other things. And I think, like Ross was saying, all of us have like our own little thing, maybe not to do with music, but it's something just to keep us, you know, insane or sane.
Balance.
Not insane.
Keep us insane. I like it.
Yes. Man off the mic. Boom.
Sorry, that was like.
Yeah, I always say this. Yeah. All right. I just want to touch quickly on, because collaborations. You guys haven't been all that big on collaborations over your career. I mean, you've been Prime Circle. But recently, for the Castle 120-year celebration, you did a collab with Pro, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there was a media... Do you want to get that?
Yeah, let me take
Just
pause there quickly.
Now, obviously, that was like kind of a marketing advertising campaign, but it turned out to be something a bit more than that. That was a kick-ass tune. I mean, you guys want to talk us through that?
Yeah, it was an in-house thing that they asked us to do. We'd never met Pro before. No, we hadn't really heard his music, but when we heard it, he's amazing. He's a great rapper, and it's something that I am not a great rapper, but we as a rock band wanted to bring something together, and yes, it was an in-house thing, and it became something else. So it actually was quite a fun thing, and we brought out a lot of the old Prime Circle sound in the song, and to bring out something a little bit different. So yeah, it's a very interesting process, and for SAP as well. I mean, I enjoy my pints as well, so my father just said, make sure you get a lot of free alcohol. So we tried that as well, and yeah, it was brilliant. So nice times.
Good stuff. All right, guys, listen, wrapping up, just looking forward. We're coming up to the end of 2015 now. 2016, I'm sure plans are already being made. What's in store for Prime Circle moving forward towards the end of the year into the next year? Anything you can let your fans know, anything exciting?
Yeah.
There's some great projects lined up for 2016, and some really cool ideas, and we'll be traveling a lot overseas for 2016. But locally and South Africa, we have some nice things lined up. It should be happening sort of around April, May, around there.
Okay.
It's something that we've dreamt of doing for a very, very long time. We've always spoken about it, but we've just never taken that next step in doing it, because it's quite a big project to put it together. So look out for that. That's going to be really, really cool, and we'll talk more about it closer to the time.
Yeah, we'll be keeping you guys in touch with the international touring as well. We're going to be spending a lot more of our time overseas next year, which is something we've always loved, because we're road dogs. We love being on the road, so the more we can be on the road, the better.
That actually just ties in with my last question perfectly. If I had to give you the choice to make, Prime Circle, remembered as a band that sold lots of records and were incredibly famous, or a band that put on a kick-ass live show for its fans, what would it be?
Live shows always the way.
Live shows.
Yeah.
That's what we love doing.
Yeah, I mean, CDs are just a business card, like it's the live shows, everything. And I think the more the world is developing with music being pirated and downloaded, the smoke and mirrors is being put away, the bullshit's being, taken aside, and it's about playing, showing yourself the real thing.
Well said.
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for making some time for us. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out this episode featuring the one and only legendary Prime Circle.
Thank you.
Cool.
Cheers, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Marcus.
It was really, really cool.
Enjoy, Reese.
Hello, Russ.
Hey, man.
What we're hearing a lot is like the music scene isn't what it was. So what would you say to up-and-coming bands that is most important to make yourself relevant in the scene today? Like, is it image and message, or good management, or lots of content? Like, what would you say to them?
I think the management is always a good thing, but you have to know your own affairs. I think we've been burned too many times with that. It's something you've got to manage yourself as well as have someone else there. You can't just pass the buck and say, I'm a guitar player and that's what I'm going to do. I think the message is always a good thing, having a message to say as a band, rather than just like in the club or whatever, the kind of stuff. And I think the one thing to be relevant as well is like a lot of bands are scared of it, but it's literally hitting the road and playing. It's I've had foot rot and seen the craziest, biggest cockroaches and stuff like that, and been attacked by things in the worst kind of hotels you can imagine, but it's all to serve a purpose, like to get to maybe play 20 minutes. I think a lot of bands expect success because now they've played a song well, and I think they don't understand the lack of glamour in it. So I think that's the thing.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
This is going to be it. Without the help from
Take 2-1. This is like the 2-1.
This is like the turn to take, yeah. Mark. Your disapproving glance. So massive to thank you.